Yeah, I think that combination does work out nicely because you can save the morph if he does get Fiend Script, right? You just
True.
snowball and that's it. So it's a good counter pick in that sense if Execration wanted it. I think the aggression you can get with an AA Tusk is pretty darn good as well. The rotation potential is strong, so it allows that faster pace for Execration if they were looking for it.
Yep.
And we'll just wait and see what they opt for. Really digging into the reserve time.
Oh.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay, so this is one that popped up a couple times. What was it, 2 days ago? And
Yeah.
then it kind of disappeared again. It showed up in the middle and then just went off. Nobody kept picking it. Now it's back. I still think the Mirana's a very potent pos 4 to have in this current
Hmm.
meta. You do have the X set up there as well, so you can
Yep.
X into the arrow, which is quite nice. Whether it'll pay off though is a different story, right? Because it's not really the most guaranteed way to shut down the Bane. Like, you can arrow while the Fiend's Grip's going on, but it's a bit harder than that. You know, generally there's a lot of chaos going on. You may have already used the arrow. Sure, you can buy something like a Yule Scepter on the Mirana. Maybe that's what we'll see come out. GeekFam, they'll go into the Pangolier now. So,
Hmm.
is that a support Pango? Is that a core Pango? Is this a safe lane DK now? It's all up in the air.
Hmm. Yeah, it definitely is. I think I have a feeling that's gonna be a Zephyr Pangolier. I think he has played that here on the 4 before. So I wouldn't be too concerned if it was him there. I don't know about that NPS support again. As you mentioned, it's just not been popular in that position. So if there was something, I think the Pangolier has been in the support much more, which is nice. Great damage, great initiation. Does give GeekFam some team fight as well.
Right.
And the disarm can make it hard for the Morphling. So you do have that going for yourself. And it's a very slippery hero. So now you've got to consider who do you really want to X mark and combo? Because you don't have the most stable stunts to actually keep the Pangolier down.
No, well, they don't have the Grimstroke there either, just to
Hmm.
soulbind during the Rolling Thunder. You don't have anything to deal with him. Like, GeekFam gonna have a pretty much a free Pango game. It should be anyway. They could still leave their Pos 4 pick to the last pick though. Because you could run the mid Prophet, the offlane Pango, and the safe lane DK. That could be what they're up to.
Hmm.
But for
That's
now,
fair.
Execration seem to assume that they still need that Pos 1, so they ban out the Ursa. Which is fair enough. The Ursa has been very, very popular as well over the past few days. Just feels like every second game we see an Ursa popping up.
Yeah, it's been hard to deal with. I mean, with a early Battle Fury, you just farm out of control. So I don't mind that option being taken out. A lot of teams have been effective with it. Just gets a bit too much space, and the timer is most certainly earlier than Morphling. So just take that out. You don't want GeekFam to have access to a very fast core because you will have to buy space for the morph. You know, it will take time to farm up. Just the nature of the hero as it is.
It's a funny thing though. The Ursa does come up online faster, but then we're seeing basically every game with an Ursa ending up in a Battle Fury build, which kind of slows things down a bit, but they still manage to carry throughout the late game anyway. So once you have the
Hmm.
Abyssal up, it's just kind of broken.
Yeah.
Looks like GeekFam, they'll ban out the LC now. Interesting ban to make, but I guess the press the attack up against the Bane is quite nice. And oh,
Ooh.
okay, the Luna comes out,
Ooh.
and someone's
Yeah,
very happy
that's
about that.
that's gonna be interesting to see. We've seen this a couple of times. I think it actually was Miracle playing that pause one Luna. Of course, you have the option for it in the 4, although it gets a bit weird with all your position 4 flex picks. More than likely, it's just gonna be the Raven hero. So the question now for GeekFam is, what do you build? Do you go for the magic build? Do you go for the physical build? We've seen kind of a split between both. The few times we've seen that in the pause 1. So we'll see what the emphasis here is for GeekFam. I think you will probably just want to go for the physical build just for scalability. But if you really want to play fast, it's the Ags. It's just that when you're tied to the Ags, you're tied to the cooldown of Eclipse. So there's a timer there you have to be aware of. And we've seen teams falter with maximizing that or just miss out in key moments because they don't have a spell. So again, it's down to GeekFam as to how they want to play, but this lineup's pretty potent. Like it pushes fast. Luna is just a tower melter. So is the DK and the NP. So I think the key thing here is push objectives fast and early, play around your DK's ult, and try to shut down the map fast. Execration, they close out with Ascent. So a very durable frontliner to get the control out for them. And I think it balances their draft nicely. It gives them another piece of control now, for sure. And it does look like, yeah, Cuckoo on the offlane NP. It's going to be Carl on the DK and Luna being played by Raven. So not too strange. I think this is much more favorable for GeekFam if they play fast. If Execration can stall it out, then the Morphling can take over.
I do like that Centaur finish though. Like the Luna does not really do anything to the Centaur.
No.
Especially if you get on top of... If BHM can break the gap with Raven and get the hoof stomp off, he's going to get so much damage out onto Raven because that Luna just is so squishy. That mount, by the way, that Raven's on, that looks really cool. What is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. There are like a million mounts for Luna. All of them are pretty sick.
No, they're not,
wanna-
John. This one's pretty sick though. Come on now.
I think the only one I hate from Luna is like that owl. You know, that owl which is there for Mirana as well. I just hate it. It's like it's an owl cat thing that's just so I don't like seeing it. I don't like that it exists. And I think if you use that, then well, you might reconsider your tastes in cosmetics. But if it's the only one you have, hey, well, you got to show off something, I guess.
Yeah. And we'll get into the game number 1 between Execration and GeekFam. Of course, GeekFam just came off a draw up against T1. So they're all warmed up right now, right? They're ready to go. Their fingers are warm. Execration, the first series of the day, and really the only series of the day. Gonna have to try and go into it with GeekFam when they're ready to go. Could be a bit challenging.
We are seeing the mid Morphling this time, not the mid Kunkka. So it's gonna be Palos up here to face up against Carl's DK, and
it begins. Carl is very confused. Why him? He will just hide. I don't blame him. These bounties have been pretty on point. Like I feel like 90% of the time these bounties are placed, that person goes down. Now there's a second bounty. Are you able to translate, sir?
No, I'm looking at the earlier chat because there was some. I wish I could scroll up more, but it's just wordplay. I think for some reason Whitemon felt the need to say Oten, which is I don't want to translate any of this on stream, but anyone that gets it should know. They're just Magsasarana SS. Something's closing. That I can translate, and something's closing out.
I don't want to hear it.
Good luck.
Don't say it if it's inappropriate, damn it.
I won't translate it.
All right.
You won't know any difference, so it's fine.
All right. Top lane BHM gonna find the banner in for himself. You know, you really are the worst translator, John.
I'm.
Every time I ask you to translate something, you're just like, you know, my Filipino is not very good.
It isn't very good. It really isn't.
But you
like,
live there, John.
Yeah, but I swear I've had a situation where when I speak Filipino, people laugh at me. they actually laugh at me, and when I speak Filipino to them, they're like they just reply in English. You know, they don't even try. They're like just speak in English.
I'm sorry about that.
That's my life. That's my life. It is sad, but I'm fine, Mike.
So bot lane, you've got that the POS 1 Ember essentially. Ben-Hur, usually the mid player, is going to be in that safe lane now with RR. Up against Cuckoo on the Nature's Prophet, so the off-lane Prophet is upon us. Zephyr will indeed be there on the position for Pangolier. The top lane, of course, Raven on that POS 1 Luna. BHM going to be up against him. Yaha will be there. Yaha's going to have a tough time here up against Wyman. You see the harass coming out of that Bane. It's kind of insane. And there's not really much you can do as a Mirana to contest Bane in lane, I'll tell you that. Unless you... And If you do land the arrow, of course, then sure. But if there's no arrow being landed, it is Whiteman's lane.
Yeah, and it's just so hard. Yaha's level 1 right clicks are just not up to Whitemon's level, so every single trade is just favoring the Bane. This is really hurting BHM. As you mentioned, he has no early presence, so Raven's just basically free farming now.
It's a problem. We've seen what happens when Raven does tend to free farm. It looks like he has queued up the Helm of the Dominator as well on the Luna, so it's a very standard kind of build for Lunas right now. Just going for that aura-based kind of build. Just get the Alpha Wolf and you feel very, very nice about how much damage you're dealing. Of course, when you have the DK combo there as well, it always helps to give the DK that higher base damage as well. Just tends to start hitting those towers like an absolute truck. I think it's going to be very important for Palos and this Morphling to get an early Ethereal Blade if he really wants to burst down Carl, because they are going to need that magic damage.
Yeah, it's going to be key, and Palos, he doesn't have to worry about building the Ags in this game, so he's going to have the leeway for that. Is finding better farm, but it is a DK, you're not exactly stopping Carl here. He's just going to find his farm as well.
Trade farm. The bot lane is probably where we might actually see most action. It's like Ben-Hur, once he has the X up, can go for kills onto Cuckoo. Because you got the Cold Feet combo there as well, so you get the X, get the Cold Feet, X them back into a Torrent, and they're going to get frozen as well. Zephyr shouldn't really be able to do much about it if that does occur. So, all he can really do is just swashbuckle and hope to disarm the people attacking his core. That's really it. Whiteman chasing Yaha down, does get arrowed up the top lane, now taking a hoof stomp and retaliate from BHM. He will Nightmare up the center and just run. And, well, the Nightmare was taken off a bit late there by Yaha. Whiteman really did want that kill. Very aggressive.
Yeah, but this is really keeping Yaha in check. It's not really shutting down Raven. I think as long as you give Raven that free lane on the Luna, it's a Luna. Once you have some levels up, it can really start clearing camps and flash farm fast.
That is very true. Especially once you do have that Helm of the Dominator up. Like, that's when it becomes kind of ridiculous how fast she can get through camps. BHM, again, not really able to stop him yet. Every time he gets close, he's just taking some glaives to the face. Not very nice.
No.
Just what I've been waiting for.
Even harder when you've got that Bane there. He will just put you in the Nightmare every time you try to go for that retaliate onto the Luna. It's kind of a nice way to deter the retaliate in the first place, is just to Nightmare the Centaur up every time. Just waste the duration of it.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky for BHM, and it's so tricky that Yaha actually just leaves that lane. He knows he can't do anything in that trade, just opts to get some rotations out, and now Whitemon's setting up to just steal some runes.
Well, he's trying to harass BHM while this creep wave's being pulled. BHM's got to make a decision. Do I want the creep wave? Do I want the bounty? He will lose the creep wave, or half of it. And it goes right into his tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, bot lane, however, Cuckoo does go down. First Blood is going to be there for RR. And that was the X Torrent and Cold Feet combo I talked about.
Yeah, it's really straightforward for Execration to get that happening. It's one of the things with the NP. It has potent right clicks, but overall it's just a very static lane in terms of just farming up, and that does leave you vulnerable to these much more early power spikes from these dual lanes.
Well, Palos is really trying to harass Carl out of this lane. Carl has been farming very nicely on this Dragon Knight thus far. He'd love that Dragon Breath right now to try and take Palos out, but it is on cooldown. Palos continues to just juggle his HP, although, whoa, Zephyr comes in from the side, cancelled the salve of Palos. So he is salveless now. And Yaha will take the regen rune for himself, which Palos probably would have enjoyed, but he can't really afford to leave the lane. And bot lane again, Cuckoo's going to die here. Ben-Hur this time picks up the kill. Meanwhile, top lane, BHM dies, Raven. Committing the Eclipse very early on does secure the kill for himself.
Yeah, it's again one of the risky things about going too far up against a Luna. Once you hit 6, Eclipse will just isolate you. Do you see down mid? Zephyr was trying to TP down to help out Cuckoo, but he got arrowed up by Yaha, so they're just gonna try to make a play on Palos. They did use all their stuns, so there's not much you can really do to stop the attribute shift, and looks like they're just gonna have to give that one up.
That's fine though, because nobody's defending top tower. Like Raven, he just took down the Centaur. He could probably happily just start forcing in that tier 1 with the siege creep, because you know there's no rotations coming in. Palos is going to try and turn around on Carl, but they're still trying. They'll be fine though. Palos will walk out.
Yeah, it's a Morphling. You don't quite have enough to control. They actually do TP Cuckoo up top as well. They just want to melt that tier 1. And Raven's just hitting a bit too hard. They do rotate in though.
They do, and this is going to be great for GeekFam because they're just going to back off. All these TPs being wasted from the side of Execration, feeling like they did need to defend that. Carl will kind of rub it in. That is not great for Execration. Being forced to get out of that safe lane for Ben-Hur. This means Cuckoo and Zephyr now can freely push the bot lane. And look at Raven, he's here as well. He knows it. They're just dancing around the lanes, making it hard for Execration. They're going to go for a very early tier 1 push. And in all fairness, Execration can't do the same because they haven't farmed as well.
Yeah, they don't have the option to do so. Maybe you have BHM tank a couple of hits, but he's not at the point where he can just cop it. So it is a bit riskier. And you do look at Raven. He's got the Dominator up, so his farm and his presence does get a huge boost when the aura is starting to build up.
That's a real problem as well for Execration. They are still trying to force in that top lane. Oh, yeah, bot lane. RR, not going to be feeling too safe right now, just trapped in the tree line, and Raven will take another kill for himself. That'll be 2 for the Luna. They did manage to secure that tier 1 tower eventually. It's not what you want, right? Because usually you want to try and push around that 10-11 minute mark for the tier 1s. Secure more CS if you are BHM and Ben-Hur. But you're forced into pushing that tier 1 tower early. And it took so long that you probably missed a wave or two. Now Ben-Hur, he's going to be forced to farm in a very dangerous kind of position. Very far into that safe lane of the Dire. You look back over to that Raven Luna. He's sitting at 55 and 14 right now in CS and 4.2k in net worth.
Yeah, it's going to start to get out of control as he does start to level up the Moonglaves. So camps are not going to be lasting too long. I mean, everyone else from GeekFam is, not doing too great. Like, even Carl's farm has taken a bit of a hit, but as long as Raven finds this initial farm, you're really not going to have an issue with how this is going out.
Do you think he's just going to go for the Ags build, as we've been seeing from a lot of Lunas? Because it feels like we see the Ags build constantly. For now, Raven's building into a Yasha.
I think it's going to be the more traditional Manta into maybe straight up a Satanic, or even a late Mask of Madness, perhaps even. You might see the SNY if Raven feels the need to be tankier, but more than likely just the Manta build up. So maybe a Hurricane Pike, actually. That's something Lunas tend to go for. Yeah, the Manta into Hurricane Pike is probably the safest bet. Beyond that, it's fairly open. Really depends on what Raven needs to get done in the game.
You might not have as much value in that Hurricane Pike this game, though. Like, you are up against the Conquer with X. Yeah, may not be worthwhile.
No, but I think you still need that mobility. There is, beyond just the X, I mean, you don't want to be caught out too badly. There are opportunities there for Execration, and the stats are just value. I think that's really key thing with that item pickup.
Okay. Well, it looks like Execration now going to try and force in this mid lane a bit. Carl is going to be there to try and defend on the DK. Of course, he has not really done much chip damage to that tier 1 mid tower. Palos has kept it at bay, and now mid lane, Ice Blast Boat all being thrown out, but a Nightmare dodge! Wyman literally just wipes all that damage off.
No.
They still find the kill, but now the Fiend's Grip is there on Palos. And Palos is going to die. Ben-Hur trying to get away. He will Quelling Blade through the Sprout. But Whiteman, I mean, that DK should have really just blown up, but he dodged all the damage.
Yeah, it's a great save from Whiteman, and just forcing them to commit further for the DK did leave Palos vulnerable, so they trade away a much bigger hero. You are slowing down the farm of that Morph, and Palos is actually saving up for Lincoln, so although Raven gets X'd, he might try something.
Eclipse, BHM can't sustain that much magic. He will barely run away, but the Dragon's Breath will be there from Carl. Now the Dragon Tail out on the Morphling. Palos just getting perma-stunned right now. They're going to still try and defend this T1 mid, but the best they can do is deny, and they don't even find that. Cuckoo, he does secure the tower. Now Palos again, having to deal with the DK. Will back off. And Carl will give a final tip out to Palos as he leaves that mid lane.
Yeah, it's not all too bad for Execration. They do manage to find the kill on Raven, as he did overextend just a bit, and did get caught in the second Ice Blast. So a little bit of a trade for Execration, finding that kill, but you're still not too happy losing that tier 1. This is exactly what GeekFam wants. They have a draft that pushes. They just want to find these objectives, build an advantage, and Execration, though, hunting.
Oh, Raven, he'd be a big kill. Then Her gonna throw the boat in. He did get stunned by that Centaur, and well, they missed the arrow, but they got the Ice Blast boat, and that will be enough. Raven was farming right underneath an Observer Ward at the time, and just such an easy pick-off for Execration.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate, GeekFam. Dropping your pause 1 twice like this is giving Execration a bit more. Ben-Hur is starting to catch up, close out that deficit, is right next to Raven now, so the farm advantage our Luna had, kind of tapering off. Needs to just play safe in the jungle. There are some good stacks here by the Ancients, and looks like Whitemon will increase that, so gonna have a lot more here to clear out.
Well, 1k net worth lead will be remaining for GeekFam. Like Raven's still going to be trying to build into that Yasha. You do have the Spirit Vessel now out on Cuckoo though, so you've got a way to deal with that Morphling and Centaur. They're not going to be anywhere near as tanky as they once were. Now Whiteman smoking up. He does have the Fiend's Grip, and Palos could be the unlucky target, but it looks like they don't spot him out. But now he does show himself to the wave. This is not going to be great for Palos. He gets Fiend's Grip, he is guaranteed to die. Smoke breaks, he's trying to find a way through the tree line. Palos, TP coming in now from Cuckoo. He does Strength Morph. It may not matter though. They get the Fiend's Grip off. There is help coming in. Stampede out from BHM, but they've lost that Morphling. Ice Blast will be there on Whiteman. He will be happy to die though. A pos 5 for a pos 1. You trade that any day of the week. The rest of Execration are around, still trying to chase. Oh, Zephyr, no. No! The arrow connects as he TPs. And now the boat will fly in from Ben-Hur. How unlucky can you get? They do miss the boat, but he is going to be surrounded.
Ooh. Yeah, it's not the best, but GeekFam's still going to be very happy with a Morphling overall. It's still a fair trade for them. And since you drag all of the heroes out to find those kills, Raven just has free space in the jungle. Finishes up his Yasha. He's saving up for a BKB next. Just want to be able to stand and fight. And this is accelerating Raven's farm a fair bit. You know, it's giving him time to build up on that Luna, and that's not time that Palos is finding himself. He's just been under a lot of pressure, is falling a bit behind, so has to try to play catch up, and again, he's going for a defensive item first, and that Lincoln's will save him from the grip. You've got a lot of other spells to break that Lincoln's anyway.
Oh, Cuckoo, he's way too deep. Trying to go for a bounty rune snatch is going to cost him, and nice kill out from Ben-Hur. No wards were there, he just blindly TP'd in, and that's a big kill coming out for Execration. Now they're going to head up towards that top lane, where Zephyr is there up the tier 2 tower, ready to try and defend this. They'll just take over that dire jungle. Standard stuff. I've got to say though, looking back at that Morphling, that Lincoln Sphere build, while I do agree it's necessary, it does tend to really hold you back a bit as a Morph.
Yeah. It limits your damage output, it limits your presence, really. I mean, it's nice stats, but it's not quite the most value for that, so... It's gonna be down to just how much Palace can get from blocking one spell under multiple, and a nice scan does spot GeekFam hanging around there.
Execration. Smoked up, ready to go. They are going to have the low ground, but they'll get up towards the high ground now with the Moonlight Shadow being popped.
Oh.
Whiteman going to TP out. He'll be fine. Raven going to do the same. He'll also be fine.
The seeds of fortune.
Ooh, really good game sense coming out from GeekFam, and they bail out at the perfect moment, so they don't lose Raven. That would have been the biggest kill for Execration, and this does mean the farm game continues. Raven gets the slow build up towards the BKB. Palace continues to build into the Lincolns, and everyone else just kind of slowly tries to bulk up. Look at Carl, he's going for a BKB as well. They just want to be able to stand and contest Execration when they throw all their spells out, and I think that's really the way to go. Like, you've got great team fight, you've got great control. You might as well give yourselves that big fight advantage early on.
Yeah, I mean, the DK is unkillable when he's got that magic immunity. That's the thing, right? Like, while that BKB is active, nobody's touching the DK. Stampede out. Just going to allow Ben-Hur to secure the Invis rune, I believe. There was nothing really else to take. Nightmare out from Whiteman, just getting BHM, but he's going to be surrounded here, and this should be an easy kill out for Ben-Hur. Does have Zeph? No, they want Zephyr. Zephyr going to try and Rolling Thunder away, but the X will be there. However, he does dodge the boat, and now Rolling Thunder will allow him to get away. He will just TP out of there. However, an arrow did connect on the Bane. Whiteman going to be in trouble and will definitely die.
Yeah, it's not the kill Execration was looking for, but they'll take it. GeekFam gonna be glad to just get Zephyr out there safe. And of course, since Execration rotate 4 heroes top, GeekFam have more opportunities to farm. You could argue that the same space is being given to Palos, but the farm of Raven is most definitely pulling far ahead. He just clears camps a lot faster. So he's just recipe away from BKB. About 1,000 gold away overall, and again, once that's up, you look to Raven to maybe start joining these early fights.
Yeah, it's going to be problematic. Like, these BKBs, Execration don't really have any team fight without these big ultis they have. Especially with that Morphling still trying to go for a Lincoln Sphere, you just don't really have much right-click damage on Palos either. Now, we'll smoke up from GeekFam. They have the Fiend's Grip back up on Whiteman. GeekFam, they run straight into BHM. And BHM, no, they wanted the Roshan attempt. But they are going to have to go ahead and secure that Centaur first. Eclipse was popped by Raven, just taking the easy kill. And they won't quite be able to Rosh now because it's very obvious. But I suppose the Centaur kill is still pretty darn good. They can go after a tier 1 now.
Yep. Opens up a little bit of a push for them. Same thing happens for Execration. They head down mid, so looks to be a 1-for-1 trade.
That's fine.
Ooh,
Palos'
Palos.
courier was left around this area, had the Lincoln Sphere recipe, and will go down. Now the mid lane, a fight breaking out. Cuckoo going to take an Ice Blast, but a Fiend's Grip is going to be there onto the Kunkka. He's slowly going down. They do cancel it off with the Yules, and now the boat will fly out. Cuckoo does die, and there will be no form of trade here for GeekFam. They are still trying to chase, though. Zephyr, he's going to make the play onto Palos. No way to lock him down, however. They'll X-Zephyr up. Arrow will be dodged. Now BHM may be too far forward. Raven does get the stun off with that dominated creep. Carl will also jump in, and I disconnect.
Okay.
Holy.
Looks like Yaha does manage to leap away. The Rolling Thunder's out from Zephyr. They bump into Palos. He's already shifting his HP. Glimmer Cape's out as well. They have a dust. Palos still being chased down. Disarmed, stunned up. The right clicks are coming out. They have enough. Palace is gone.
Thank you for that, John.
No problem, Mike.
It's always when a big team fight's about to break. Every time.
Beta game. Beta game.
Yeah.
Beta
There
game.
it is. There's the next person. Cuckoo's gone now as well. I'm telling you, every time I disconnect, I'll reconnect, and then at least maximum 5 seconds later, someone else will disconnect. Every single time.
Yep. It's been consistent. At least it's been consistent that, well, we can almost kind of expect what happens after. Almost.
So
Still?
GeekFam now, though, they took a successful team fight. They're leading by 2k, and it looks like they're going to go into that Roshan pit.
Yeah, the beauty of that entire fight as well is that Raven finished up the BKB, didn't use it, and they were fighting without Eclipse. So it's only a half-minute left for Eclipse to be back up. That means the Rosh is going to be really safe to take because by the time Execration run in, you will have Eclipse up.
Have you noticed every time there's a DK in the game, for some reason, he ends up losing his armor?
Oh, yeah, every time,
every
if
game,
you disconnect and reconnect. Yeah, I don't know why that cosmetic bug exists, but if you disconnect and reconnect, it used to happen in every hero. Now it's really just DK's model for whatever reason. And did you notice in the dragon form, his items actually float under him?
What?
Like,
do they?
Yeah, for me when I disconnect and reconnect, the DK mod, the base model doesn't have the armor. The dragon, it's mapped. The armor's mapped to the dragon, but it's just kind of T-posed. So it looks really funky. I'm not sure if it's just me, but try to keep an eye for that. I think it's pretty interesting and how that model specifically breaks. Valve probably just didn't hook it up properly with the item identification.
But now the Roshan going on, but a nice Ice Blast to fly through. That could make things a little bit risky here for the side of GeekFam. They will back off. Bit scary when the Ice Blast connects and you don't know where BHM is, you don't know where Ben-Hur is. Those big stuns could really make a team wipe happen with the Ice Blast passive still. GeekFam, looks like Whiteman's picked up an Invis rune. Still has 15 seconds for the Fiend's Grip, but he will have it up soon enough. Come on now. Who's scared of the cockroach? I think it's Cuckoo, right? He's...
Oh, God.
Come on now. Someone sort it out.
God.
100% it's
Hey.
Cuckoo. Cuckoo's typed EW. Yeah, it's Cuckoo. Cuckoo's scared of
Come on.
bugs.
Have you seen Southeast Asian cockroaches?
I live in Australia, John. Are you sure you want to test me with this this insect argument?
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, how
Yeah,
big
that's
are cockroaches in SCA, John?
It's not that they're big. It's that they fly. They fly to
the
your face.
flying ones. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
know
got
the
the
ones.
flying roaches, so that's why. Bastos. Bobo Kasepper. Lamau my ass. Bobo, yeah. They're just calling each other dumb. Kai and Pepe Sepper. I can't translate that. I'm sorry. I can't.
You can't
I
translate it because you
this-
don't know how to speak Filipino?
No, I can't.
It's
well,
inappropriate.
it's inappropriate. You
Okay.
know how we are, Mike. We're inappropriate people. We live in an inappropriate country. We say inappropriate things as a friendly greeting. You understand it's an Australian.
I do.
It's kind of the same. Yeah. I wonder how long it takes to kill that approach. It shouldn't be too hard.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Who said anyone's killing the cockroach, John? As far as we know, GeekFam is simply containing the cockroach and then leaving it to go outside and be free.
That is a much more complicated process, and not one I know Filipinos to do. I have to tell you. There you go. It's settled. Whatever it was, it's done. The deed is done.
Put press F to pay respects for the poor cockroach's life.
Oh,
Whiteman, bot lane, is going to run straight into BHM. Goes for the Nightmare first, and he has the Fiend's Grip now. They even have the Rolling Thunder just in case BHM wants to do anything funny. They don't want to have to commit the Fiend's Grip if they don't have to, but they do. Stampede popped, that'll be enough to commit.
Yeah, it's a worthwhile trade. Like Stampede for Fiend's Grip. I think even if that cooldown's a bit longer on your Bane, you don't have to worry about Stampede, and it does open up the map just a bit. You do see Palos playing tag with Carl, but pulls out. Joke. Just joking. Just a prank, bro.
Carl gets stunned up. RR gonna be able to go down here to Carl.
It's not a prank, Palos. Gotta be careful, bro.
What is going on this game, John? Yaha ends up picking up Zephyr. Now Yaha's going to be in trouble. He'll try to leap away. Does get hit by the torrent of Ben-Hur. However, Raven is waiting. He does at least arrow the dominated creep. Get a 200 gold before he dies, but he still will die.
Yeah, it's a nice set of kills for GeekFam. Just finding a couple of pickoffs here and slowly building up that lead. Still trying to get it up. 4K is a pretty nice start. You want that to be wider with this draft from GeekFam. Execration, you're still finding space in Palace. He's building into the shotgun. So his damage will start to build up as soon as that item's up. And it's going to take a bit of time, but it's definitely a worthwhile investment here.
Well, GeekFam's looking really good this game so far. I mean, 4K net worth lead, and you look back to that Morphling Palos, he's just got the Lincolns. Like, he's working towards the Ethereal Blade now, but he needs a full Eagle Song. That's going to take a while. And so GeekFam, they're going to push down that bot tier 2 for free. And just back up for a bit. Raven's got the Satanic queued up. You're at that point now as well where I don't believe the Ethereal will do anything apart from killing supports. Like, they've got BKBs up. As soon as they see you nearby, you just pop BKB, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky for Palos to actually find the cores. I think maybe the only value beyond the damage, if you even get the damage out, is the disarm value. So you're going to be stopping the Luna. I mean, it's just BKB time. This is really the big thing. And GeekFam smoke up. They're still feeling confident.
Why not? Where are they going, though? Roshan again? No, they'll go back into their dire jungle. They know Palos is there somewhere. They're going to run straight into him, but RR, a huge Ice Blast. There'll be no follow-up to that Ice Blast. There is still a chase going on here. Palos, who'll have his Lincolns broken. Cuckoo wants to make the chase. Stampede now. Palos still running away. He will waveform and should be fine. Just TP out of there. But now, you could go back for the Roshan. Instead, perhaps they'll go after Yaha on the Mirana. But no, they won't really scout him out. They are keeping Execration quite contained on their side of the map.
That they are. It's really good control from GeekFam, and the Roche they go. You got a lot of damage on Raven, and Cuckoo does have the medallion, so they can speed it up just a tad.
Nice blast. Stun, gonna be out. He went to the high ground. Carl is there onto BHM. He already found RR on the AA, and now with that Spirit Vessel, BHM is falling relatively low. Another stun to fly out. Now the Sprout, and they just have so much damage. That was without Raven. He was just hitting Roshan.
Yeah, it's a really nice set of kills and Execration. A bit early with a blast, not fast enough for the response. Do give up that first rush, so GeekFam start to widen their lead to 7k. You did see Yaha kill off a couple of couriers, not the biggest deal, but Execration is starting to bleed more on the map.
Oh, Yaha leaps away, but Wyman's going to be there with the Fiend's Grip. They don't even need it. Dragon Tail will be there from Carl. And that net worth lead now sitting at 8k for the side of GeekFam. And you still got the Fiend's Grip for the mid lane. Ben-Hur, he's going to show up, but that could be a mistake. Oh, Wyman, no, he's going for deep wards right in the base. And I can see why. Raven wants to go high ground.
Yeah, it's a Luna. When you're this far ahead as a Luna, you just push that
Carl,
tower in. Oh, Carl?
he just went in for a Dragon Tail. Does get X'd up. Ben-Hur going to bring him back in with the Spirit Vessel Torrent. Another nice Nightmare touch from Whiteman on that Chilling Touch from the AA. They do de-ward that Observer Ward. And GeekFam may just be done now. Execration, they have not found the cockroach, John. They've actually disconnected this time. So, oh, there we go. At least they're happy to point out the reason, so you don't have to say it. And Zephyr says smart.
No, like smart internet. That's a literal company.
Ah,
Is the same. It's the same.
it's the same. Okay.
It's the same but different. Gee, super.
Now Raven's having problem with a mouse. That's it's not good.
Mama delete ka ba? It's are you in a rush? Carl? 8-1 with didn't tap. That I don't know. Probably inside jokes. Fucking combo meal. What?
No need to swear on the stream, John. My goodness.
It's right there.
I'm
It's
sure
just a
that
vocalization.
the viewers can read, sir. Thank you.
I can. So I need to read for myself.
Carl, gonna blink away. GeekFam, they're done with the high ground push. They might just settle for a mid-tier 2 instead.
Yeah, it's no rush, as mentioned earlier. There's no rush for GeekFam. They could just wait out the Satanic if they really want to feel safe, but taking additional tier 2s does mean you can find more than one in the high ground. And
Yeah.
that just lets you maximize that Aegis a bit more.
I've got a Solar Crest out on Cuckoo as well, which really does help out Raven with taking it very, very quick. Arrow, gonna miss, and oh, Palos, what are you doing out there?
Oh no.
Rolling Thunder, Palos, Fiend's gripped up now. They need to help him. They get in. Yule's up on the Bane. Boat won't really connect on anything. And now Palos just needs to waveform out. The Eclipse still going, however. Palos, he might die.
Oh.
He does. They even found another. Yaha was left behind. He will leap out of the Sprout, throws an arrow out from the behind, but will go down. And it's back to the high ground for GeekFam. In fact, Carl's still
Carl.
going. Almost kills off BHM. There will be a buyback there from Yaha and Palos. And they will still find the T3 tower. In fact, they can try to go for more if they really want. Raven does still hold the Aegis. Carl will be happy with just tipping Palos. And that'll be it.
Yeah, perfect time to pull out. You've got tier 3 items to farm up as well. So just buffing themselves up with additional pickups here. And really well timed. They force the buybacks out. They just go for a reset. Maybe wait out that Eclipse cooldown on Raven. And once that's back up, you should feel confident to head back to the high ground.
You look at Whiteman as well, John. He's living the dream. Oh, he found a telescope as well. Oh, this is the dream for a Bane player. Holy crap.
Oh, that is. That's really nice.
He's about to hit
Just
level 15 as well. Look at that. The telescope's there now for Bane.
Show us the range.
No, you hit level 15 first. You get the cast range talent as well. And you can't catch him now.
No.
You're going to have to waste all these leap charges to try and catch out this Bane while he's doing Fiend's Grip.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be really strong. And again, you probably still need to pop that Lincoln at least on Palos, but it's not gonna be a hard job. That's just so hard to play against now for Execration.
It is really tough.
Oh, Raven.
Top lane, RR. Getting caught with his pants down. Does go down, and well, now GeekFam. Where are they headed? Zephyr? Gonna make a TP to the other side of the map. They want to go back down to that bot lane.
I mean, they've taken the tier 3 open racks. It'd just be easy to go in.
Yeah, I suppose so. You've got the Satanic there on Raven as well, though he will lose his Alpha Wolf, which is a bit unfortunate. Gonna remove a substantial amount of damage. But he doesn't mind. He'll still go for it. He's got time left on the Aegis. He's gonna make use of it. Torrent won't connect with Ben-Hur. Yaha, nice arrow, but it won't last that long. And now the X will be there, but Carl will jump in. Straight onto Ben-Hur with that rolling thunder out from Zephyr as well. Ben, he has to just BKB up and try to man fight, but they are doing a lot of damage there with that Nature's Prophet still. Ice Blast, Bone to fly in as well. Carl will pop the BKB back on the Morphling, and now the Eclipse comes in. Palos will die back.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, it's not good news if you're Execration. Raven,
Oh, Raven.
He's thinking about the tier 4 towers.
Yeah, it's, they know there's no buyback. They know they've got a massive opening here.
It is going down fairly quick. Raven might turn around for the mid instead. No, he wants the tier 4s. Carl will jump in. They do get one stun. Now the Fiend's Grip does catch out the Centaur. BHM is going nowhere. Yaha will finally get the Yules off, but you have lost Ben-Hur now. See, BHM is basically about dead as well. Raven does clean him up. In GeekFam, they will go back for Yaha as well. Can't leave a man behind. And the GG's been called. They have had enough.
Ooh, yeah, GeekFam showing up in their second series, winning that game one in a very dominant fashion. They just got all the lanes, they had really active supports, and, well, Execration got to shake it up for game number 2, but GeekFam looking in a lot better shape than they were in their first series.
That they are. Of course, game 2 will be coming up in 10 minutes. It is MLP and JohnxFire. We'll see you all again very, very soon for that secondary game.